What if you could slide into 1,000 different worlds where it's the same year and you're the same person, but everything else is different? And what if you can't find your way home? Well, Robert Jeffries and I found the gateway. Now the problem is finding a way back home. This is Stumbling Through the Multiverse, a Sliders recap with Rain Coleman and Robert Jeffries II. What's up, y'all, and welcome back to the one and only Sliders podcast. This is the official podcast. You all know it. Those of you who've been watching and listening and going along with this journey, you understand it, that in spirit and in practice, this is the Sliders podcast. I am your co-host, Rain Coleman. I am the son of Arturo, his, alternate universe black son, and I am here to say we are happy to be here and be back. Hell, yeah. What's up, Robert?
What's going on, man? What's going on? I'm Robert. We made it to season 3. Jeffrey, the second. Happy to be here. I was thinking about that May song. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back.
Yeah, welcome back.
It's been a minute, but
yes.
We are back to talk about season 3, the season that I think almost kind of broke us.
My God. And I'll tell you that it broke me because I was going back through like getting answers for the list, and I quite literally scrolled to the first episode of season 3 and I was like, what the hell is this? I don't know what this is. Like, it was so long ago. Like, no, not it was bad. It was like, I don't have a memory of this. It was so long ago. It felt like it was January 2025. Like, it feels like it was so long ago. So I don't know what the hell. I know I'm broken. I know I'm broken. Shit.
You know, I want to say that I think this might be the first season where it went to like 20 plus episodes. Because I just went to season 2. It only went to episode 13. So this one they went all the way to 25.
25. So. Oh Lord. So it just felt like, so because I forgot, my mind erased the Egyptian episode. When I saw, I was like, oh, this is, and it took a while. Like, I knew that it happened, but I had no memory of that episode either. I was like, we've been doing this shit for a minute. This season alone was like 9 months. It felt like shit. So,
and I'm trying to remember when we decided to start doubling up on the episodes, but I know it was during this season, right?
It had to be. Let me see, and because didn't we take a break between like the first and the second half of the season?
Probably. I mean, probably like 3 weeks or something.
I have no idea. Fuck. When do we double up? This is 18, 19, 14, 15, 12, 13, 8, 9, 6, 7. 5. Right after episode 5.
Right up. So episode 5 was that because the Dream Masters is the episode that officially got us to change the whole format of the show.
My God, yes.
Because
good reason.
And looking at the ratings for that, you were at a 4 and I was at a 4.5, and we were just like, you know what?
Enough.
We got to do something. Otherwise, we're not going to be able to maintain.
Oh, my God. This would have took us to 2027. No, because this shit, that's crazy. 5 episodes. Oh, my God. But that was perfect, though. That was a perfect episode to kind of kick off the double, since it was 25 episodes this season. My God, man. This is why I say this is the official podcast. I don't even care. Yeah, I'm being funny, but like, truly, this is a labor of love. These motherfuckers.
It's, we had definitely we always say constructive criticisms of the first two seasons, but it feels like at a certain point, and we've said this before, season 3 was just where things they switched up.
Right.
they switched up, and
Mm-hmm.
I will refer people who watch this series to after finishing season 3, go back and look at the back history of what happened during the season, because I think there was a lot of transitional things happening that were definitely reflected on the small screen. So it was like the BS of like hearing the couple next door arguing and saying, I don't believe you, I don't like you, that type of shit. And then like you don't see it, right?
Yeah.
Until they, start walking out to the car.
Yeah.
The husband's trying to hold her hand, and then she's like, get the fuck away from me. That type of stuff. So now you see it. So we were at the stage of them trying to hold hands, and the things weren't going right. So it is a weird place to be with a show that I love. But we kept it real, as the kids say. And actually the kids don't say that no more. My old ass says that. We kept it so real. So for real. We kept it so real.
Hey,
there you go. It's a deep cut. Deep cut 90s. Speaking of 90s, so we can let's jump into our season 3 recap or / discussion, where if y'all haven't listened to our recaps from the 2 previous seasons, what we do is we break down specific things that we liked, episodes, have a little bit of a discussion. So what we start off with are our top 3 episodes, and you'll talk a little bit about why those episodes worked for us. So I will pass it off to Rain for his first choice for and these are in no particular order,
right?
So what's the first of your top 3 episodes?
With this season, man, I'm gonna tell you some of this stuff was a little difficult to do, but my first one has to be season 3, episode 9, The Prince of Slides.
Okay.
This was it has to be in my top 3 because Remy had more to do, and Remy had an unconventional storyline with like the pregnancy.
Yeah.
And I felt like though it's the 90s and everything wasn't handled well, even though I may not have the words for it, I think this episode lends itself to a larger conversation of like maybe trans inclusiveness that I, not being trans, looked at as, okay, this was, though the intention wasn't, this is a trans episode, I think that it was done well enough and with enough care that the conflict was the story, and it wasn't, oh, look at that man with a pregnant belly. It wasn't, and it wasn't like, oh, that black man is what's the stereotype? If not effeminate, what is it, like dehuman, whatever, like I don't know, whatever shit they say when a gay person breathes on screen. Oh, they're trying to make these kids get. No, this is we're watching a sci-fi show where we jump parallel worlds. A man being pregnant is not. It's like one of thousands of things. So I think that with that one, to me, that episode was it season 2 where we got the detective Rembrandt? I ain't gonna say it's beat for beat the same, but that. The amount that he had to do and the amount of importance that lied on his shoulders in that episode is something that we don't really get with him.
Not often. I mean, like when we, and the times that we do are good. So I think we're like half and half for like Rembrandt-centric episodes.
Yeah.
It's like the last episode where it was Rembrandt-centric was just a hot-ass mess. So this one, it was good seeing him at the forefront, and also his relationship with Danielle, the Duchess of Hemmingshire, was also a plus for that. So it was, so I definitely agree. Like this was a really good Remy-centric episode. But so for me, my number one is Season's Greetings, season 3, episode 12. Yeah. I mean,
I,
it's like we have a tradition, at least kind of unofficial, where at least in the Jeffrey household or Stevenson household for my mom, where we would like watch Christmas stuff, right? So for us, it was National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation that we will watch, and um, I think also there's some other Christmas, more recent Christmas centric thing, but I can't remember off the top of my head. But this episode kind of fits in that category for me. But it is also one of the last few times that the original 4 sliders were together and it was happy.
yeah,
Right?
yeah.
You know, and that's one of the things that I really enjoy about the episode, because kind of what we get afterwards post Exodus. Even before Exodus, I think there is kind of some weird stuff, but especially after Exodus, when the professor is taken off the show, it's just the vibe isn't right. Things are different. I also do like as someone who has worked in retail, I love the the critique of capitalism.
Yo, God.
Just the holidays being used to just like make as much money, and just the whole I want culture, as I sit around surrounded by stacks of books that I've bought, but I do like that. That's the sliders angle for this, where it's that the social commentary balanced with a kind of a sweet episode, a message, and just getting the chance to see the sliders happy and together. And it's also a Wade centric episode, which works pretty well, I think, pretty decently. More so because of her sister and her father being involved. So that's the first of my top 3 episodes. So what's your second one?
Season's Greetings.
Yeah.
Like, it had everything. That's one episode that I felt like if you lifted it out of this season and just showed it to somebody, it would work as a good Christmas movie. Yeah. It would work as a good introduction to like, this is what the sliders are about. It gave you, like you said, the capitalism, but I love that it when you can just have the Santa Claus fairy tale in a Christmas show or movie, it was like, instead of just saying, oh, you got to be good for Santa, it was more or less like, these children are terrible. We need to fix them. And it wasn't just Santa's going to visit you because you're a good person. It was like, no, this is poor behavior, and now let me give you. So it was like that idea of capitalism, make money, bumping right up, like make money off of these children, bumping right up against the fairy tale of Santa Claus, and being delivered by the professor and Rembrandt. Wait, it was them too, right? Weren't they?
Yeah,
because they were arrested. Didn't they get arrested that episode?
They were taken to the back, I think.
God, yes.
I'm like, God, what are y'all about to do? Like murder somebody? But
man, look. Yeah. Okay, that, and then of course with the lady who dropped off her baby at the church, and then of course getting Wade. For me, this is her definitive family. This is her family, and not just like, oh, this is the family that she needs all alone. No, when I think about Wade's family, I don't think about that random white man and woman who was on that porch that one world. Like, girl, nobody care about them. This is her family, and I thought that this episode did a lot of heavy lifting, and it was one of the episodes where explaining sliding didn't feel weird. It felt like, all right, y'all, this was going on. Like, because clearly, in my world, your mama, like to me, it just worked. It worked, and it was a Wade centric episode, and it didn't feel like it wasted the other characters. Quinn gonna be Quinn, like whatever. But I definitely top 3 Season's Greetings.
Yeah. So for me, my second one is Murder Most Foul. Murder Most Foul. Season, well, obviously season 3, episode 13. And this is Westworld before. No, let me stop. Like, it's a world where corporate executives or people, upper class folks who have overly stressed lives, they are sent to a cosplay amusement park, where everybody's playing they have actors playing roles. In this case, it's a Sherlock Holmes kind of Victorian. I don't want to say Victorian, but like Sherlock Holmes, England and London, and he is trying to solve the crime of who is like their version of Jack the Ripper.
Yeah.
And people are actually dying. So this was, this is one of those concepts where before we get to this place, to this like adult Disney World or like middle-aged Disney World,
middle-aged Disney World,
like corporate executive Disney World. Everybody in the real world is dressed in business suits. They look like they're all out of that scene from The Matrix where he's looking for the lady in red, the red dress, very corporate. And then, so I like that you have this world where profit is key, right? And it is reflected in most of the jobs that everybody's doing, but then also it stresses. I love the idea of the fact that it stresses people out to the point where they're like, okay, we got to be brainwashed and put into this like weird treatment. Crazy. So this is the weird sliders that I like, right? And then it is another professor focused episode. But I do think that everybody else gets their own kind of like balanced out screen time in it. And it also is another dark episode because they are dropping bodies, right? And it is crazy. So this one I enjoyed for the the murder mystery vibe of it, the real world, the weirdness of the world, or the kind of otherness of the corporate culture. And I just it was a good one. I think really good, an example of what sliders could do well.
Absolutely.
When it was doing stuff well.
And I agree wholeheartedly. Mainly because my number 3 is Murder Most Foul.
There you go.
No, that was like for everything you mentioned, plus a lot of my choices surrounded the core 4 and the professor. And I feel like in this world of LARPing cosplay, he was still himself. And I don't even feel like I'm like grasping at straws with this, but the professor, for all his flaws and all the things that made him there were times I was like, what the hell are you doing? But there were more times where he was consistently himself across the board. And I felt like being like sort of brainwashed and coming out on the other side as this detective extraordinaire made so much sense. And it was fun because it felt like he was able to, it felt like one of the last times, like you said, that they were happy, but it felt like that was an episode that probably was fun to create as well. And I love that. Another part of it that I liked is for a different reason was the introduction of that little boy who was like 2 steps ahead of Quinn every time. And I forget the exact conversation, but at the end where it was like, oh, you can come with me, and I think the boy was like, no, I want to stay here, and whatever else. But like just the idea of that child joining them instead of a random adult or a random van full of people, like this random, like, oh, join us, the police are chasing us down. I was like, no, this is an innocent kid who is like also being punished in this like live action role play space, but he proved to be just as cunning or just as interesting or just as smart as Quinn, because then he'd take apart the timer and put it back together. Like that boy was smart. And so he was, I know there are times when I'm like, oh, I wish somebody would have joined them, but I do feel like that boy would have been a good addition. And I didn't like the reasoning behind him not going. I think that didn't, if I'm not mistaken, that was like, oh, this is kind of a thin way to be like, oh, we'll see you next time, and you're not going to see him next time. So no, all in all, I thought that was a fun episode. It was honestly one of the best Sliders episodes. Period. I feel so. Murder Most Foul. I don't know if I said it. Well, either way, I'm gonna just stick with it. Yeah, Murder Most Foul. Definitely damn good episode.
Yeah, yeah. My my computer was doing weird stuff, but I heard the last part. Like I heard what you were saying. So yeah, we are definitely aligned. I think this is the one part where we diverge.
Okay.
The last number 3 for me is Dino Slide. So that's season 3, episode 23. One of the only episode featuring Maggie between the two of us. This one, I think what did we rate this? We gave this
a 0,
7.5 for me and 7 for you. So this one was, for the later episodes, was rated pretty high, higher than what the normal was.
Yeah.
This one, it was another one where it felt that every person in the group had a kind of a equal role, or something to do. This was another episode where we saw not Maggie but Wade, getting very fed up, to the point. So we got to see some progression, now of her feeling some type of way over these past episodes since the professor died in Exodus Part 2, to now where it just kind of hit its capping point.
Yeah.
And that's character development, I feel. But then the biggest thing was Remy and Malcolm's relationship, having more of a chance to see them together.
Okay.
Sort of like the de facto or like an adopted son, father and son relationship. And it just for those reasons, I think it worked pretty well. Also, like one of the few times that I enjoyed seeing Quinn and Maggie together, because it wasn't on the like will they won't they type of ish, and even if that was there, it wasn't like flaring up. It was it wasn't a big thing, but I enjoyed this episode, for those reasons. And it was one of those things where I was like, is there anything post Exodus episode wise that I could add to my top 3 episodes? And I was like, okay, I'll give it to that, because I think we actually enjoyed that one.
That's a really good one.
Yeah. So our next category are our 3 favorite characters. So I will start this one off with Malcolm from the Exodus, and 2 parts. Did I? Sorry.
This is crazy.
Yeah, we. I kind of figured there would be some. Some kind of crossover. But Exodus 1, Exodus 2, and then Dino Slide. Episode numbers, y'all forgive me, but I wanted to get this brother's name. Wes Charles Jr. Played Malcolm Eastman, but his name is Wes Charles Jr. And look him up. He's on Instagram. He's a musician. He's doing I think he's a community activist. He goes out. He's a speaker. He does a lot of things nowadays. So yeah, but season 3, episode 23, Dino Slide, and season 3, episodes 16 and 17, the Exodus Part 1 and Part 2. So partly, I'm going to leave this kind of open because I got a feeling that I'm not going to say like a lot, because I know like Rain has
do your thing.
But yeah, Malcolm is in a day and age where, especially during the 90s, Black folks, especially Black kids and being straight up Black women, weren't featured as much, I feel, as when we have representation. It was mainly like sometimes Black men. It was cool seeing a Black kid in a science fiction show that I was watching. I mean, by this point I would have been in middle school or high school, but it was just cool seeing somebody who looked like me there, being able to kind of partake in these adventures. And the character is pretty solid. Like, he is not, a bad actor. He is not like this kid who comes in and just says one line
Yeah.
and then runs away. He has some agency. He has a storyline,
Hmm.
and I enjoyed the performance between like these 3 episodes. So Malcolm is, my first favorite character.
Yes. Mine too, of course. Yeah, Malcolm was definitely going on this list in the top three. I to everything that you said, but me coming at this as an adult and not watching it as a kid, and if so, not remembering Malcolm,
Yeah.
if I even got that far, because I know I've seen Sliders, but I ain't watch it. I didn't watch Sliders. I enjoyed him. This 3 episode run was very surprising.
Hmm.
And then, like you said, having a black boy in a sci-fi show, it's not like that. That in and of itself was like stood out. But then even his role within the show, because it never felt like it felt like I'll just say it like colorblind casting, because it never felt
Hmm.
like, yo, I'm Malcolm, fool. Look at me down. I'm in this the 90s. I wear my clothes backwards. It was like this is a kid. Even when he was, what was his mom, the blonde lady? What was her name? Was it Sarah? No.
Something like that. I can't remember.
But even them, like
Yeah.
I know for Dino Slide, I think the critique was like, oh, we could have got rid of her and had more scenes and such and such. But I'm like, but that truly
Hmm.
to me worked well. It didn't feel like there were other kids there. He wasn't tokenized. He was a good child actor, good physical acting, like having to run across those hills and fight with Rigby. Like all in all, I thought he did a great job, and
Yeah.
he was always gonna be on my top list. He's
Yeah.
up there with Jillian of the Spears for me. So
Awesome.
I gotta go Malcolm, my boy. Malcolm. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Um, so for me, my number two will be Logan St. Clair.
Oh
Um,
wow. Okay.
yeah. Logan St.
Mm.
Clair is, you have characters who just appear for like one episode or a couple episodes, and they leave an impact.
Mhm.
And I will say her character with Sliders fandom has done just that. For
Mm.
me, I enjoyed her as an antagonist who I I, I actually enjoyed.
Yeah.
I could say that, that I actually liked, and would have loved to have seen more interaction between her and the crew.
Mhm.
Aside from this one episode, and for as long as we, and I will give all credit to you, with Quinn being like the evil, this guy,
Hate
uh,
her.
the this guy who is just forcing these people to go on this journey that he only wants to go on. I
Mhm.
love that, and we've always seen a bunch of evil Quins. We actually have now an evil version of him,
Yeah.
like
Legit
who is done
evil.
well. So I enjoyed her. Some people may say some of the some of her, what we got from her was a little campy, over the top. I don't really think that's the case. And I think that she was just a really good antagonist. But shout out to Zoe
Mm.
McLeland. And she, like I said, she appeared in season 3, episode 2, Double Cross. And you got to think, like, this is the second episode, so they're introducing a
Right.
pretty big villain, early on, and
Mhm.
unfortunately, just don't do anything with her,
Yeah.
after that. So, but yeah, she was my number two. It's your favorite character.
Okay. I can say she was my honorary mention. She was not on my
Okay.
list, but I enjoyed her just the same. My number two is Dr. Natalie Silvius.
Okay.
Don Lewis's character
Yeah.
from The
Yeah.
Breeder, season 3, episode 19.
Hmm.
Um, I liked her because in that episode she felt full. Not that all side characters are just one dimensional, because we do get side characters often that are interesting, but I do feel like, and I don't. I don't want to make this necessarily a race thing, but I feel like when there's pretty white women on screen, like
Yeah.
all they are is you are here for Quinn to lust after.
Mhm.
Like overall, there are interesting like the Paradise Desert world with the one chick who was like hoodoo priestess, but in Barbie. I don't know. Like there's so they have stuff to
Yeah.
do, but I do feel like a lot of times when there are beautiful white women on screen,
Mhm.
they are there first and foremost to be there for Queen, and then secondary is they have something to do in the episode.
Yeah.
Um, with Dr. Natalie, I felt like one, I'm gonna be perfectly honest. I love A Different World, so I
Yeah.
was locked in from the
Mhm.
start. But seeing her in this sci-fi space felt
Yeah.
good, and seeing her tag along with Wade doing that investigation, I was like, out of all the people we've had on this show, I truly feel like she should have been sliding with them. Like that's
Yeah.
another intellectual mind. It is another woman, and it is
Mhm.
a woman who isn't here's Wade but taller. And then at the end when she became the breeder, the alien, I was mad that they left and didn't save her when you break your neck saving everybody else. But I did like that now she's taking on this role. It's not an ideal role, to be
Yeah.
very clear, but to see a black woman as a villain per se or hosting this villain entity, I feel like I did not like the ending, but I did like that she survived.
Yeah.
Even though you have to go through that to survive, because just like with Rembrandt and the pregnancy being something in the conversation with like transness,
Yeah.
I think there's something there that again I don't have the language or the I couldn't lead a conversation, but I do feel like there's something with the experience of a black woman, period, and then a black woman in STEM. Um, because I don't know the numbers offhand, but looking at because there's the university, Kettering University. I'm from Flint, Michigan. That's there, and there's tons of black folks there. But I
Mhm.
think in the STEM field, like at a certain point, you get to a place where like you're one of one.
Yeah.
Uh, the higher up you go, and so there's something there that I'm just not equipped to have a conversation about. But I would love to peek in on a conversation about it. But all in all, I loved her. I loved that she got to be in the episode and be a fully formed person with opinions and thoughts. And it was
Yeah.
like, ooh, Queen, you so sexy. Oh my God, I've never
Exactly.
seen this Wheaties box of a man anywhere else. But until you popped up in here. So she's in my top three. Natalie.
That's the funny thing about her, about you mentioning her, she's a really good choice.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I'm watching Nemesis
Okay.
on Netflix, and
Mm-hmm.
guess who popped up?
Oh,
Dawn Lewis on the second episode. So
okay.
yeah, she is acting,
Good.
and we're about to get that Different World sequel
Yeah.
series
Mm-hmm.
that's coming up on Netflix. So yeah, really, really good choice.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing, kind of a small mention. I think I told you that I'm doing a rewatch a second time of Stargate Atlantis,
Mm-hmm.
and one of the things that I do like, and it reminds me of Star Trek, is that in the background you have a wide variety of different people who are,
Yeah.
work with that expedition or work with the team. But when you have the speaking roles for like the scientists, the doctors, the engineers, they ain't no people of color. It is like,
Yeah.
the most that we get are like the speaking roles, like our for the different positions
Yeah.
are like the warriors or the soldiers or anything like
Mm-hmm.
that. So to have a character like the good doctor being able to actually play a role and have a background in science actually, you know, help move the plot along is good.
Mm-hmm.
Is a really good thing. So yeah, we need POC doctors and
Mm-hmm.
scientists, in sci-fi. So that I really enjoyed that.
And the braids. I don't throw that in there. She
Yeah,
had
yeah,
braids.
yeah, yeah,
It wasn't no flat iron. Like if
yeah.
that's what you want, do that. But it wasn't like this. She was a dark skinned, tall woman with braids who was a scientist. Like, come on.
Yeah,
Come on. Like
yeah,
with these very phenotypically black features, like very strong black features. So
Yeah.
Dr. Dawn, Dr.
Shout out.
Dawn, Dr. Natalie. Okay, yeah.
So for me, my last choice is Danielle, Duchess of Hemmingshire,
Mm-hmm.
and she is this is season 3, episode 9, and she is played by Victoria Mahoney, which you go and look at her IMDb. She is directing her butt off. Like she
Good.
between TV and film. I saw the last film that she directed, or at
Mm-hmm.
least one of the more recent ones, was The
Mm-hmm.
Old Guard 2.
Oh.
She's done a lot of stuff. So she transitioned at least with the directing.
Mm.
And she's dramas, sci-fi, fantasy, so just a lot of stuff.
Shout
So
out to
shout out
her.
to her. But on the acting side of things and the Prince of Slides, I really enjoyed her work with Clavon Derricks as
Yeah.
Remy. And because one of the things that we always ask for is like Remy need a sister, right?
Yeah.
Remy needs to have a speaking, more than 2 sentences to speak with, a love interest, right? And it doesn't,
Mm-hmm.
it just when we get it so rarely, just a love interest in general with
Yeah.
him, that when we do get it, we really are just kind of like, yay, this is it.
Mm-hmm.
And this was one of those moments where we were like very happy about, the relationship as it played out, because she was a no nonsense
Mm-hmm.
Duchess, part of a royal family, had that we call it like the Bridgerton vibe, as
Mm-hmm.
far as like, the Queen Charlotte vibe of it all. And,
Mm-hmm.
maybe she was Queen Charlotte before we had Queen Charlotte as far as with Bridgerton. But
Yeah.
and I think because of the the conflict that is happening, she is very just straightforward, and she's not a damsel in distress,
Right.
right?
Right. Right.
She's taking control of the situation. So I really enjoyed her Victoria's work in this, and I will say this is one of those things where when we broke down this episode and her relationship with Remy, it gave me a newfound appreciation for the episode, because
Okay.
this would have been like a kind of like, okay, this is an episode that happened, but I
Mm-hmm.
think her relationship with Remy really kind of pushed it a little bit more further into
Right.
like an area where I'm just like, this is a really solid episode, and I see that we both gave it 8s.
Mm-hmm.
So the Danielle, Duchess of Hemmingshire, is my last favorite character
Good.
from season 3.
Good. Also, I love that she was like, my man can't sing. Who the fuck are you?
Right.
That was
Yeah.
like, okay. No, she's right. Yeah, she was cool as hell. My third is Elston Diggs, played by Lester. Is it Barn? Oh, my penmanship is terrible. Is it Barry? Jesus Christ. The
Yeah.
gay nigga, the gay boy. That's that bald gay boy.
Yeah.
I like him.
Yeah.
Like is it Will Sasso, the
Mhm.
Dominion Hotel, in that same way. Like just
Yeah.
on face value of this reoccurring character in different worlds, I like that. But the fact that that's some queer representation in
Yeah.
this show, and he's consistently there. Yes, kind of. I don't even say shuttled off to the background, because because he's not in every episode. When
Mhm.
he is, it is just like Will Sasso at the Dominion Hotel. Like there is like what you're going to get with him. This is
Yeah.
the bridge to other parts of the episode, and like him being at the club with them, like that. With the breeder, was it breeder? Yeah, the breeder episode.
It's a Breeder episode. Yeah.
Yeah, he just I fell for him in, what was it, season 2 when he was introduced, or was he in season 1? I can't remember.
It would have been, it would have been, when they transitioned to Los Angeles. So that would have been the back half of season 2,
Okay.
the beginning of season. Actually, I can tell you right now. No, he wasn't introduced until season 3.
Interesting, because it feels like it. Maybe because we've been doing it for so long, but it feels like he was in season 2 to me.
Yeah, like because season 3, he wasn't there until they started sliding in Los Angeles.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
Hey, even still, I'm big fan. I like him. And I like that he I think especially back then there was a tendency to have the um so I'm going to say something. I'm going to walk it back, like the flamboyant gay man. Now, I want to
Mhm,
say that that is not an issue at all whatsoever. Be who you are for your pride, but I do feel like a lot of times people kind of rest on that
mhm.
back then. It's like, oh, look at Jack from Will and Grace, or like, what's that Christy Alley show? Where whatever. But there's always this like
Yeah.
overly what else did I say overly, but extremely flamboyant character. And I
Mhm.
don't feel like he was that, but I felt like he was toned down in a way that read as just a regular gay guy who you can tell is gay. It wasn't this like hyper masculine Trevante Rose in Moonlight. It was like, no, this man is clearly gay. But
Yeah.
that is not something that needed to, it actually never from what I can remember, informed his role on the show. It was never like, "Ooh, there go your boyfriend." It was like, "No,
Yeah.
let me tell you, motherfuckers, what's going on here. These niggas is in your dreams." Like it was just, he was just a regular character. I think that was one of the, if I think about it, in the '90s, a queer black male character that would have been one of the ones I think you could look up to in the sense that like
Mhm.
be an actor or look what he can do,
Yeah.
where it didn't feel like a caricature of
Yeah.
queerness. So I want to be clear. I don't think being effeminate and flamboyant is an issue. I just feel like for the time, there was one particular type of gay that you were getting
Yeah.
in TV and movies, especially when it came to black men. It was that, or it was the evil DL. Watch out, ladies! Like it's so. Yes, that is
Yeah.
my long explanation as to why Elston Diggs is in my top three.
Yeah. No, really good choice. Really good choice. Yeah, because that, um, like you said, black queer representation on the show is like, aside from him, probably non-existent, right?
Like at
And
all.
at all. Yeah, like I said, he did, and he did a really good
Mhm.
job. Really good job with it. Um, so our next category, like this is the Oscars, is the three least favorite characters. And I will let I'll let Reagan start this off.
Quinn.
There you go.
Quinn. Period. Quinn. I hate Quinn. I hate him so much. Quinn is worse than every villain that we get. He is a terrible person. He sucks as a human being. He's not consistent. And where I would blame it on the show, like, oh, you're writing them wrong. No, he has been consistently inconsistent since the pilot episode. I do not like Quinn. He is an idiot. I cannot stand this man. He is the reason why we're in all of this fucking drama. He's the reason why there is a random woman in a random timeline who has a baby by him who will never know him. He is he he is the reason why I think this show is not as good as it could be. And
Mm,
to I don't say that lightly as if, oh, I
yeah,
just don't like him, because I think O'Connell, he did what he was supposed to do. You are an attractive white cis man in the 90s who was given a, or not say, I don't want to act like he didn't earn it, I don't know about that, but who had a role that fit him. So so I want to be very clear. As much as I hate Quinn, I don't hate the actor, but I do feel like the emphasis on Quinn in every episode for every freaking storyline when you have an ensemble cast makes no sense. Where even when a beautiful white woman steps on screen, she can't even really do shit because she has to be fawning over Quinn. Jillian of the Spears was the only one, I could see my favorite, who
yeah,
comes to mind was like, yeah, I'm pretty and I'm a blonde hair, blue eyed white lady, but I got a whole bunch of other shit going on. Well, I don't need to be fucking with you. I see dead people. So I just don't, I feel like a lot of the detriment of the show comes back to Quinn. Quinn is a terrible person who was taking these people along a ride that they
yeah,
did not ask to be on. And he is then playing the victim while at the same time having all the women fawn over him, having to being able to go and see his old girlfriends from other time. Like you can't have everything handed to you and be the victim. Which I mean, no, you can't. Queen sucks. He's my top 1, 2, and 3. No, but he's my fuck Quinn. I can't stand him. He sucks, bro. Ugh, Quinn Mallory.
good, Good choice. Good choice. And I think one of the things we've talked about with this season is this forced relationship that they try to have, will they, won't they,
Mm-hmm.
with him and Maggie, which does a disservice to her because it becomes this like weird thing of like, well, my husband got blown up on this planet after being shot to death.
Right.
Let's see where this goes, Quinn. So it's like I think the writers didn't. It was
Mm.
just it was a bad look. It was a
Yeah.
bad look, and it doesn't
Very.
really help his character much.
Mm-mm.
My first choice is Rickman, and I will specifically say post Exodus Rickman.
Okay.
Um,
True.
the Rickman that we had in that two part episodes, I think is 16 and 17,
Mm-hmm.
and was not the same dude. Obviously, not the same dude because
Right.
they changed it. They completely changed the actor.
Yeah.
Originally played by Roger Daltrey,
Mm-hmm.
and then after that, he is then played by. I gotta find an episode where this dude pops up because he pops up like,
He's in Dino Slide.
yeah, he's. I should have just kept it up. Afterwards, he's played by Neil Dixon. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, the Neil Dixon version, he is not my favorite. I think the focus of Rickman becoming their main driving point in the latter part of the season is not my favorite storyline. That they is not a favorite storyline of mine. But the other thing is that they turn him into this weird Cesar Romero Joker styled character, and it's it completely just kind of messes with the vibe of the show.
Yeah.
We love campy, we love over the top.
Yeah, for sure.
I enjoy that stuff, but for some reason, for me, when it comes to him, um, and doing all that, it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
And they try to build this personal relationship with Maggie, and this what do you call it, not a competitive but rivalry,
Yeah.
with her specifically, and it just falls flat. So I was beyond happy when he hurls himself off of a cliff into a non-existent sliding tunnel. Um, I was that I love that because it was just the end of him, and I feel that the amount of time and focus that they put towards this revenge quest took
Mm-hmm.
away from some solid antagonists that we could have gotten with Logan St. Clair or with the what do you call them, the Chromax.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the Chromax. So yeah, so for all that, the post Exodus Rickman is my top least favorite character. So, who's your number two on the list?
Rickman. He
There you
fucking
go.
sucks. This guy sucks, man. He was fucking like, and I think I agree with everything you said. I think in Exodus he was very creepy. He was very scary. He was very horror.
No.
But and then you made the transition into this like campy character, which isn't inherently bad. Because what's homeboy from season one who was
Maurice Fish.
yeah, like he was
Maurice
campy, but
Fish. Yep.
he was terrifying. Like in the
Mhm.
context of the episode, I also wonder, and this could be me projecting, but I wonder how much of this was we can't get that actor back, and how much of it was we need a more maybe conventionally attractive or
Mhm.
like a certain aesthetic, and then you got this man. And it's
Yeah.
like it. This is why I'm going to blame Rickman on Quinn. I feel like even with him, it comes back to let's get this beautiful white woman to then be paired up with Quinn, and now you've to the point of what you said, your husband was fucking murdered
Mhm.
in the very episode. Now it's like, oh, Quinn, you're so sexy. It's like you're whereas if she was able to just be a person who was in love with her husband and was a soldier and served under Rickman, then I could even more accept her and Rickman having a prior affair, and like there's these things that I think inserting Quinn into her storyline kind of flattens out everything, and in turn also affects how I view Rickman. I like it all comes. I found a way to blame Quinn, but I truly feel this way, and so I think with Rickman, he was so cartoonish and over the top. To your point, we could have used so many other already established villains that I would even be okay with seeing him team up with Logan St. Clair. Yeah. Like if that's what it takes, then give me that. But him alone, it felt very cheap. It's like, what are we doing with this random man? And I wonder, in the behind the scenes, did Exodus 1 and 2 perform so well that they were like, oh, the rest of the season, we like, because what happened to make him be the one that's like, oh yeah, we got, because even with him and his villainy, it made no like. It did make sense, but it never felt fully formed, because I get that you're jumping through worlds, finding people with a specific DNA type to whatever, but they were never like, once he gets 150 people, he can survive for 10 years. Yeah. It was never a definitive thing. So it's just like, he was doomed to die always, because what is the Cro-Mags, we know that they're coming after y'all. Y'all kill one of them people. Yeah. Logan St. Clair, she has a score to settle. Like, he was just a lucky villain of the week.
Yeah. Well, the other thing that I don't know if I'm giving them too much credit is that, his vibe is like serial killer, right? Of all the true crime stuff, I ain't no expert. I'm not a detective. I haven't studied law. So I don't even do a podcast about, the true crime. But one of the things that you at least notice is that serial killers will kill. They'll continue to kill. They'll go dormant. They'll come back and they'll kill again, right? Until they get too old to kill. And in his case, I think that they wanted to, once again, I'm giving him too much credit, I think, for this, that maybe that's what they wanted him to be, right? Where he's just, that's his entire life. So let's say we go with that. But this dude is doing the Harlem Shaking shit before he's about to jump into a portal. I can't take you seriously, right? So that's the thing. Like I just can't, right? So even if that's what his singular goal was, which I'm not a big fan of, who was like watching the show and like, I need something different. I'm tired of sliding. That's the whole fucking point of the show. Like, it's just right. So anyways, my second choice is Gerald Thomas. Gerald is one of the Dream Masters. He is the main one. He is the main geek or Dream Master, geek Dream Master, who messes with Wade's brain and turns it into like an
weird nigga.
What was that?
That's that weird nigga.
Who was like, I have to stalk her in her dreams, whatever. So I don't know. Like I just didn't like him. He reminds me too much of like a lot of the, incels that we see nowadays. Maybe that was the main reason why, but I just didn't really think too much of him. I mean, there's a speech where he's just like, didn't he say something like they ignored me when I was in college and this and that. And I'm like, so you turn into a psychopath because somebody didn't say so. It's just like, for that, I don't have much to say about him. I just, I think like we didn't have much to say about the episode because we gave it, that's the episode where everything went downhill for us and we doubled up. So Gerald Thomas as played by, what is this dude's name? Zach Ward, who has been in a lot of stuff I've seen. So shout out to Zach Ward for playing him. So who is your I guess in your case, who's your third choice?
The Dream Masters. Quite literally, but it wasn't him specifically. It was like them as a collective. Because I felt like, what the fuck are we doing? Like out of all the worlds where there's villains and things, it's like, who did Dream Masters better? Generation X, the pilot episode. What are we doing? What are we
Yes.
doing? Oh, I'll see you later in your dreams. Oh, you're going to SA her. That is that
Yeah.
the implication? What are we doing? This is crazy. I didn't like that. I think it was maybe the execution because I felt like they could have been very like if you were going to have somebody be the villain that follows
Mhm.
them, had they have been done correctly or done well, I think them not being able to slide, but I can enter your dreams and then like kind of slide that way, almost like a
Mhm.
bacterial virus or something. Like
Yeah.
that would have been something interesting, but I just didn't like it. It felt this like this weird thing where they didn't have the magic system down. So maybe they're magicians, but maybe they're telekinetic, telepathic, Jean
Yeah.
Grey. Like it was such a weird, clunky thing that I think had so much potential, and they were the weird nerd trope. And then even the I think closer towards the end, before we did the whole astral plane fight, it was like they kind of alluded at maybe there was some infighting or like somebody trying to rise. It was just such a weird, haphazard thing. But
Mhm.
specifically, the Dream Masters themselves just felt like dickheads. Like, what are y'all doing? What is the y'all, you're just a bunch of frat boy rejects from like what is it? What's the nerd movie?
Revenge of the Nerds.
Yeah, like some weird ass offshoot of Revenge of the Nerds that happen to get powers, and now you're still these weird, odd ducks who can't do shit right. It was cringy and disgusting, and the implication or the threat of like I'm going to assault this woman. It, it how do what am I trying to say? In gothic storytelling, there is a lot of macabre and a lot of depression and taboo subjects. And so when you read or consume a gothic story that may have some of those, some of it will be upsetting to watch. But if you understand the genre, you know that like there are going to be some things included
Yeah.
that I may not agree with or like or whatever, but I do understand the genre that I'm watching. I bring that up to say that these fools have all this power, and your default is let me threaten to essay this woman. It's like
Yeah.
there's so many other things you can do. Like, where's your, let me make you remember all of the dead people in your life. You know what I'm saying? Like that's terrifying. But to threaten this woman
Mhm.
in a way that a woman is already every day at risk of like that's weird when the power is mental was weird period, but it's weird when the power is mental and you can now let me find again a dead relative you love, let me reanimate them in your mind. It's sexually assaulting this woman. It fuck them.
Yeah. I mean, there. One of the things that we talked about was, it seems like they just sit around and do stuff like that rather than use their abilities to make money. And it wasn't like, or even like make money illegally, right?
Yeah.
We didn't have a suggestion of any other criminal enterprises that they were doing to maintain power, right? So I don't know. Yeah, it was whatever. My last choice is kind of a ties into your first
Mm-hmm.
choice for least favorite character. So for me, it was Evil Quinn from the Other Side of Darkness. In one of the most offensive episodes of the season, we see apparently the happy-go-lucky cheating on his wife Quinn from the first season
Crazy.
go go crazy, right? Um, wearing white face paint, telling Arquin to kill him,
Oh.
and speaking in this deep voice, and it's a we said this in the episode. Go back and check out our review of it, but it is a callback to Apocalypse Now, which is a callback to a pretty classic book called. Give me 1 second. What's now is based on what book? Heart of Darkness by Joseph Conrad. So
Mm.
it is literally, this is what Sliders was doing starting the season, where they, maybe last season, but this season especially, where they were pulling from popular
Yeah.
movies, actually more so movies, but then also, Apocalypse Now is an older movie. See the movie, it kind of, parts of this follow it beat for beat. I hated this Quinn, and the fact that this was and also because we established in the first episode that if this is the Quinn that we're talking about from the first episode, we get no idea of what happened to make him, get here, and we're supposed to just kind of accept that, um, because this is an episodic show, like it's not serialized, right? So
Hmm.
I don't know if the reason I don't like this Quinn as much is because the episode is offensive as hell, or if it's because this is a character that we had seen previously and we don't get any
Hmm.
development for. But yeah, he is my least favorite. He's one of my least favorite characters of the season for whatever reason. So
Yeah.
um,
That dog sucks.
so our next category are our favorite two or three scenes or moments from the series or from season three.
Hmm.
So for me, it's going to be from episode 12, season's greetings,
Mm.
uh, and it's the final scene with the group celebrating Christmas.
Oh, okay.
I know we always make jokes about Rembrandt singing at the drop of a dime or having whatever. Brother got a good
Yeah.
voice, but apparently Wade had a even awesome voice,
Ah!
and she didn't sing until the vampires fucking showed up. So they could have like balanced that out instead of having
What
him
the
sing all the
fuck?
fucking time.
Oh.
Um, and but aside from our critique of them having him sing, it was a good moment.
Yeah.
It was a good moment for the group. I think also partly because they had saved the day, they saved Christmas and all of that. As cheesy and as I don't know,
Hmm.
people may call it cringy, but it's just a nice moment.
Yeah.
And I love, 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 love the original four. They just worked better than any iteration that came afterwards of the Sliders, and this is one of those moments where I think it works really well. Um, so what's your number one?
I have Desert Storm season 3 episode 6, and
Mm-hmm.
it is when they're in that garden and the professor and the medicine man, the doctor guy, were having that conversation about, like, it's kind of a full scene, like him and the professor and Quinn and the medicine doctor talking, and then the medicine doctor and the professor together, because I like that. Again, the professor stayed consistent throughout,
Mm-hmm.
and him kind of sort of arguing with this man, having like this intellectual back and forth with this medicine man,
Yeah.
who I think it was implied that he was more magic than anything, but it was like it's in the same way that like science is magic and magic is science.
Yeah.
And so I like that because we knew the professor was sick by this time, and this episode to me I thought was going to do more than what it did, but that particular scene, like the way they shot it, the lighting that came down, the medicine man or the doctor being a I don't know the PC term, but a little person. I don't know if that's the correct terminology, but
Mhm.
the way it was shot with him kind of on the professor's chest. Initially, I was like, "This is odd. What are you doing?" But I do like that framing of like magic versus science, one world versus another, even
Yeah.
the body difference, and then the way they lit it with that like heavenly light shining
Mm-hmm.
down on him. Like all in all, it's like showing that even through death, the professor was like fighting, not necessarily fighting, but he was himself through and through. Even in the moments where it felt like he kind of accepted what the guy was saying, he was like, "Well, what do you mean I ain't got no more time?" Or whatever conversation was. I just remember that, and when I think about this season, that's one of the scenes that does come to mind first is him
Yeah.
and that doctor guy together. So that's my first favorite scene.
Nice. And you know what you reminded me? It was a pretty big story point of the season
Mhm.
that went nowhere. The professor was sick.
Yeah.
Um, I completely forgot about that. So my second favorite scene or moment is from season. I keep saying season 3, episode 1. Rules of the game. Episode 1, rules of the game. So, goofy, fun episode. Actually, apparently not fun because we gave this. So, it was an episode, action-packed episode. But there was a conversation between Remy and Professor, Remy and the Professor, where the Professor is temporarily blinded, and he doesn't want Remy's help. And Remy's just like, okay, motherfucker, you just walk around here, blind, whatever. But they have a really good conversation. And it takes me back to like either season 1 or season 2, where you essentially got 2 of the old heads, right? Who would have conversations where their experience, their lives, the experiences that in their lives were kind of put at the forefront, where it wasn't like I'm trying to think of the word, not seasoned, but they were just experienced, right?
Yeah.
And I think this is a conversation. This is, one of those types of conversations, but also it shows their friendship, the friendship that you have between the two. You have this guy, from his background is he was in the Navy, he was a musician, he was a singer from Detroit. I don't know if they said he was from the South, but then you have this like British dude who is pompous, who was a college professor, but there were times where you found them kind of there was this balance, or there was a through line, and where they had things in common. And I felt that this conversation was a really good example of that. So yeah, but the Remy and Doctor and the Professor's conversation from Rules of the Game.
Good. That's what's up. Yeah, I agree. I that's what I probably missed the most about the Professor being gone, is them two. My second favorite scene was from Slither. It was the final fight with the snakes, because I felt like that was over the top. Like, why did we even end up here? We're sliding temporarily, then you 4 want to split up, and then we got fucking Carlos the Devil, and like it was that whole episode. Looking back on it, I don't remember what I rated it, but I do like that weird fucking episode with that stalker snake. But that big scene with the like snake gun battle felt like a very, very cheap version of Bad Boys. Was it Bad Boys 1 or 2? Well, I think Bad Boys, was it 1, when they were in that house with the Jamaicans?
It was the second one. It was the second one.
Okay, Bad Boys 2. That's what that felt like to me. Like, and I know it's not the same, but it like the lighting, the setup. But I specifically like that because like the snakes are coming out of everywhere, and it further highlights my distaste and distrust of Quinn. And again, I know I'm the guy who hates Quinn, but seriously speaking, we're at this space where you have been at the helm of everything for so long, and this woman, and I'm not even gonna blame her, but this woman has now gotten in your head, or you feeling so woe is me about it, that now you're turning your back on the very people that have been down for you against their will since episode 1. But that highlighted how terrible he is. I like the fun campiness of the snakes being in the wires and in the sink, and then it felt it's odd to say, kind of nostalgic for me, even though I did not grow up watching this show. Maybe it was just overall the episode felt like, because a lot of that episode I was thinking of Power Rangers Turbo. With the girls' outfits with the little shorts that like cuffed up, and like aesthetically, that's where I was the whole episode. So I think I just like it, just period. But that last little snakes on the plane ass fight scene was like Steph's kiss to me. Yeah,
they said the snakes knocked down the door.
Yeah, what? This is so dumb. But yeah.
Oh man, that's a good choice. So for me, my final favorite moment out of season 3, all of season 3 was from Double Cross, when Logan St. Clair let them bullets fly. She that is the epitome of vindictive and like, y'all, I'm dropping bodies today. And she yelled as she did it because she was frustrated that she was being pulled back. They introduced that effect in the sliders again, right? When people get sucked into the void. Maybe if it's your back is to the portal, you get pulled inside.
Oh, okay.
I have no idea. I don't know what the rules are, but yeah, when and then the bullets do that weird like Matrix-y type of thing where they stopped in front of.
Oh yeah.
Was it Wade's face? It was Wade's face, right?
I thought they also did it with Quinn. With
maybe it was Quinn's face. I don't know, but all I know is like her just letting loose with those bullets was amazing to me because it was petty as fuck. Like she could have been at that that hate the haters convention, haters ball. Because she was like, I'm shooting one of y'all, even that black guy who just popped up for no apparent
girl.
Like Remy was like in a fucking Tyler Perry movie.
Yes,
it was like an episode of Meet the Browns or some bullshit earlier in the episode, and then he shows up and he was like, "Whoa, what is going on?" So, but yeah, her, the last time we saw Logan St. Clair, that's my favorite. My favorite scene or one of my favorite scenes. So before we get the general ranking for this season, one of the things I did want to mention is the top 4 rated episodes that we had throughout the season were episode 9, The Prince of Slides. You gave it an 8. We both gave it an 8. Episode 12, Season's Greetings. We both gave it an 8.5. Murder Most Foul. You gave it an 8. I gave it a 9. And in Paradise Lost, we both gave an 8. And I'm not even going to go into like what the lowest rated episodes were, because that might take up too much time. So I'm being real because we got a lot of like lower rated episodes. So to wrap things up, I was going to say, before you give your ranking out of 10 exploded Earths that the professor was left on.
Oh, girl.
Yes, out of 10 exploded Earths, just wrapping up, what were your like thoughts about season 3? Your brief thoughts about season 3.
There was so much going on. I do not know. It was so much. It felt so long. It felt so long. And I think a lot of what felt long is that a lot of it wasn't done well. It just, it felt like something in the machine was broken, even more so than the critiques from the first 2 seasons. Looking back, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed recording with you, and I like hindsight is 2020. So I can see some of these episodes with new eyes, but season 3 just does not work for me. It's not good. It's not good. It's not.
So what is so how many exploded Earths would you give this out of 10?
That's hard because there was stuff that I absolutely loved. I'm going to go. I'm gonna go with 5.5.
Okay.
Yeah, I have to go 5.5. I want to do 6, but I'm not. My first mind wasn't 6. I'm gonna go 5.5.
Okay. So brief general thoughts from me. Yeah, this was a mess. It was a mess. It was a mess behind the scenes. It was a mess on the screen. And then, like, I think after the season is when we switch over to the Sci-Fi Channel.
Okay.
So the last 2 seasons are on the Sci-Fi Channel, if I remember correctly. So this show was it was in a transition stage. And it wasn't a good one. And I think there definitely are other examples of where behind the scenes was having an effect on what you were seeing on screen. What's strange is that I don't think many people know about this show. So this isn't one of the more prominent examples, but I think that this is this should be studied. Like that's like, if you are a fan of like Hollywood history or entertainment history, and how politics behind the camera can have an effect on the show, I think this is a show to watch, or to look at. There are definitely highlights of the season. Like, we had 4 episodes, which we really enjoyed, but that's out of 25 episodes. And the average ranking that I think that we had between most of these episodes was between a 5 and a 6. Yeah. I mean, I'm just being real, just like without doing, actual math. It was always like between a 5 and a 6. So I don't like the way that the professor was taken off the board. I'm not opposed to change, but this is not a way that it was to go. And that changed the vibe for the back half of the season in such a way that it just kind of hurt to watch at times. So, not like emotionally, oh my God, it's just like, it literally was like, okay, I love that we're doing this podcast, but Lord. So, but all that said, I think I'm going to stick at, because I was going to go with a 6, but like, I think I'll probably be like a 5.5 for myself. So, so yeah, but we took the ride. We appreciate y'all for joining. This is not me giving like, this is it, y'all.
This is a eulogy.
Yeah. No, this is it. We are still on this ride. We are, as per usual. Once again, if y'all are familiar with either listening or watching the show, we are going to take a break, a month-long break, and come back. So that would bring us to, let's say, the late June. Late June. So we will definitely, if you follow us on social media, we will, I guess, make an announcement on when that's going to happen. But we will, we just, he's taking a break, and then we'll be back for season 4, and we will keep up with the 2-episode, format that that we've been doing. I think the other thing is not saying anything about the quality. These are long seasons. Like, these are long episodes. Seasons. I think like episode 4 is 22 episodes, and season 5 is 18. So they kind of go back, a little bit lower. And that's just 90s television. That's television before streaming, right? Before streaming. So but yeah, so we're gonna do that, and we'll be back at it. But definitely go back and listen and watch the previous episodes, share with fellow Sliders fans, and leave comments. Let us know what worked for you, what didn't, but be polite about it.
Right.
Just leave that for somebody else. Like,
right.
We ain't the ones. Like this. We like having fun with this, and we enjoy the show and talking about it. So
yeah, absolutely.
But yeah.
What a ride, man. Yeah, y'all, we'll be back. We'll slide up out of here. Hell, I don't know. You want to let these people know where they can find you and follow you and support you on this hiatus?
Yep. They can find me at Robert K. Jeffrey, Robert K. JEFFREY.com, on Instagram, robertk.jeffrey, robertk.jeffrey, and that's the best place to keep up with any projects that I have coming up, any books that I have available for sale, and any conventions that I will be at this summer in any event. So, but yeah, those are the 2 main places where you can find me at.
Good deal. Yeah, same Instagram. I'll be on Threads, so if you're on there, check me out there as well. Not Twitter. I mean, I have Twitter, but I don't really use it.
Yeah.
And then if you are into the contemporary love story, new adult slice of life stories, go and check out randcomer.com. Just put all these.
There you go. Stacks on stacks on stacks on stacks.
Yeah, I gotta make it right. No, let me stop. But yeah. But yeah, so that's what I'll be doing in this little break. I will be writing. That's all I'll be doing. So,
me too.
Because Lord, Sliders has
Yeah.
Knock something loose in my head. Jesus Christ. But yeah, that's us. We have enjoyed this season. I'm sorry, I've enjoyed recording this season.
Yeah.
Be very clear. And yeah, can't wait to see y'all back here again. We'll let you know when. And until next time, stay carefree, stay nerdy, stay geeky. And if you ever kill your doppelganger or swap places with them during a slide, tell the people you're with that you have a disease so you don't die alone and that real you is out there somewhere. Like, just the bare minimum. Like, please. Shit. All right, y'all. Holler.